Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. It is Lily, and guess what? We're going to do a fun project today. The other day I posted a video where I shared some of the faux vellum paper, aka glassine paper, aka wax paper. And I told you that I would probably be filming or recording the process, or I thought it would be a fun idea. So guess what? I'm going to do that. So these are all the tools that we need right here. And this is actually wax paper because I don't have parchment paper, but the wax paper works just fine. I have old candle, so I'm going to shred some pieces out of here. And then I have teeny weeny little bone folder and my brand new heat tool. And also new packaging paper. So we talked about this packaging paper and how I cut it down to a manageable size, which is 8.5 by 11, because this came in very large strips and it was all crumbled up in the Amazon box. But look at how beautiful this is. I love it. I love this color. I've never seen it before. So we're going to try and wax this paper so that we get that faux vellum or glassine look. Now, it worked really well with the brown packaging paper, so let's give this one a try. First thing we're going to do is grab our 2 sheets of wax paper, because what I'm going to do is sandwich the green paper between the two. So, but before I start, I am going to scrape off a little bit of the wax. And you just need a little bit at a time. If you do too much, it's not bad, but it's harder to work with. It spreads. It's just too much. So once you start, but you don't know that unless you start. And unless you start experimenting and working with it, then you know how much you need. So let's just start with that. Set it aside. Are you guys drinking coffee with me this morning? I've already reheated it 3 times. Okay. So now we cover it. And then it might be loud, but that's what process is all about. Okay. I'm actually in the kitchen because I'm working on a granite countertop. That's how I did it the other day, and it worked just fine. I don't think I would do this on my desk table. I'm just afraid the heat might warp the table. So this is a great surface. I guess I could use like a large, like a butcher block or a cutting board, but this is built in. Okay, let's start. Oh, it's not as loud as I thought it was going to be. So we're just going to melt that wax and kind of press it down. Can you see it working already? Can you see the heat gun doing its magic? So I'm going to set this aside, or back up the heat just a little bit. And I'm just spreading. Now, I'm not going to be too rough with the wax paper or scrape too hard, because it'll cut through. It's like a little butter knife. Maybe I'll turn it over. Do you see how it's spreading? Woohoo! Okay. So I'm going to continue to spread. See how it builds up over here? Once it cools down. So that's what you want. You want to be able to spread that cold wax into areas where it hasn't melted yet. And then you're going to get your heat gun and target this area right here. So when I first did this the other day, and I did use Let me use my other hand so you can see what I'm doing. And I did use too much wax. I found a solution to that. Let me show you what I did. I dropped my papers. Okay, so if you get too much wax and you see that it's spreading outside the edges of the paper, what I did to absorb some of that wax is I just put the sheet over it. So now I've got 2 sheets, and then the top sheet will absorb some of that excess wax. Can you see that coming through? So you'll work in sections. Okay. Do you see how it absorbs it there? Okay. But I'm not done with this, so I want to do this. I want to do this entire sheet. So it looks like I might need a little bit more wax on in this area right here. So I just scrape that out of there. The whole thing wants to come out. Can you imagine? I'd be waxing for days. Okay. I'm just kind of smushing it down just so it melts a little bit better or faster or quicker. So it doesn't need to be directly over it because you also don't want to burn your hand. So you have to be careful. Don't get too much heat on your hands. And then kind of push it towards the areas that still need more wax. Okay. Do you see how I got that entire corner now? And if you push the wax onto the wax paper, it'll cool down in that section, which is fine because then you can absorb it with your next sheet of paper. So this side is also getting waxed over here. Okay. Yep. So it looks like this half looks like it's just about done. So let's smear it over into this section. I keep crossing my hands. Okay, because I want you to see what I'm doing. So if it looks like that wax that you have put down isn't enough, then you can go back. I just need a little bit right there. Okay. This candle smells really good too. It's vanilla scented. Angel food cake. Once you give it a try, you'll kind of be able to gauge how much wax and how much spreading you need to do to cover the entire page. Okay. So see, I just need that edge right there and this one here. So just gently push that cooled wax and it looks like I just about got it all. If you want to make sure you don't have excess wax on any of your paper, so what I'm going to do, so it looks like the entire area is waxed except for that little corner. Let me do that again. Let me blast that area right there. See how I tore the page a little bit? So just be careful, because I want to be able to reuse this wax paper several times. Okay, so now what I'll do is to absorb any excess wax from that paper, because I could see, can you see how it's kind of built up here, little areas? That's the cool wax, some here on the edges. So I'm going to absorb that with this. And that'll give me a head start for the second sheet. And be careful again, don't point it directly at your hands, or don't leave the heat directly on your hand for too long, because it will burn, so be careful. Do you see that? So this one's ready. Let's see. I'm gonna do that. I put the finished one on top just to transfer some more of that wax to the other sheet. You can kind of feel if it's too heavy in wax. And then just feel it till it feels, you'll get the hang of it. Takes a couple tries, but I showed you the sheets that I did, and I'll link the video. I'll link the video below in the description area of the brown paper packaging that I waxed, and then I'll and in that video you'll have the link to Odd Designs, where the inspiration came from. You could see her tutorial. It's in French, but believe me, you'll understand it. So this one's got a good head start. This one's kind of heavy wax over here, so I'm going to take this area and concentrate here. And then I'll call it done. Oh, that feels so good. Feels so good, so good, so good. And I'm going to take a dry one just one more time. I'm just going to blast it one time, again, for any excess. So let me do this. And I'll put that on top. I wonder if parchment paper is just a little bit thicker, so it'll hold up better than this wax paper. But then again, the wax paper is, this brand is fairly inexpensive. I don't know if there's different qualities of wax paper, but it does the job just fine. Don't go out spending a fortune. It defeats a purpose. Use what's in your kitchen. Defeats the purpose of repurposing if you're going to go out and buy paper. Or a heat tool. I know I bought a heat tool because I don't have one here. Okay, let's get the last of that wax. And see, it picked up a little bit. Picked up a little bit of that wax. Can you see that? Yeah. So I'm going to call this done. Okay. And now let's compare. Let's see if it worked out. So here's the original, and here's the waxed paper. And you could see my hand. Can you see my hand? Right there. Can't see my hand there. Let's put something behind it and see. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit darker than the brown packaging paper, but I think it looks great. And if you hold it up, I'm holding it up to the window. It looks great. I know you can't see, but trust me, it looks good. But it does become somewhat transparent compared to this. What do you guys think? Are you going to give it a try? Look at that. Let me find some paper, some book page. Let me see something. Oh, let's see. Give me a second. Okay, here's a recipe. Galletas Chela. Okay, so here's a recipe. You can't really make out the words, but you could see the paper through it. Well, I'm going to do the other sheets because I still like the look of it. I like the transparency. I don't know what book page will look like behind it. So I'm just going to have to get busy and make some projects, but I will finish working on the rest of the paper. I like how it turned out. So it does have a little bit of that transparency, and you can see that there. Oh, that's so cool. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, and you guys have a great day. Take care. Bye.